This is the Sports Hit List. By the fans, for the fans.
We're coming off of SmackDown last night in London at the O2 Arena, and we figure out that one main event at least we know. Well, I guess two, because we figured Cena and Cody is officially, they didn't announce it, but we kind of understand that's a main event, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second main event now is the triple threat between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. Surprise to me, I already posted a video that, Jey Uso and Gunther are not main eventing. And TK and I have been going back and forth about this for the last couple of weeks about, does Jey deserve to win? I just had a friend of mine, shout out to Jay Marrero. He sent me an article about how it'd be a complete disaster for Jey to win the title. And how, even him breaking character is not, championship-like. And he's an old school wrestling fan, there's no breaking character. Jay's moveset is terrible. It'd be a disservice to the company to have him as champ. Now we see the main event is not Gunther versus Jey Uso. TK, let me start with you. Were you surprised by the move? And what does this say for Jay's potential championship run?
Yeah, I actually was a little bit surprised. I thought, Roman Reigns, Punk, and Rollins was kind of just, I thought it was going to be a good match, but it didn't really strike me as a main event because even though Rollins and Punk definitely have that blood feud, kind of Roman feels a little bit shoehorned in there. And I know they're trying to tie it in with Paul Heyman and the Wise Man and the Favor Owed. But to me, I wanted Jey Uso to have that. As a fan, I wanted him to have that main event because he has the nickname Main Event Jey Uso. And I feel like he really needs to earn that in the main event against a guy like Gunther, where he is the massive underdog. So to me, I feel like the fact that this triple threat got the main event means that WWE thinks, or at least it perceives, that Jey and Gunther, that feud isn't hot enough right now. There isn't enough behind it, and that people don't really people react to Jey in the arenas and do his entrance with him, but is he just an entrance? So that kind of feels like they're not sure with his moveset and everything. Now I am Team Jey Uso. I want to see him win the title. I want to see him beat Gunther, and I even have a little scenario in my head that I kind of mentioned to you, Carl, where they could take the Orton Christian route from 2011. Maybe Jey wins, Gunther calls it a fluke, and the next night on Raw, Jey could lose it and then kind of go through a Kick Christian arc. But besides the point, I was a little surprised because, I think you got to give Jey Uso the shot. He won the Royal Rumble. I don't like it when guys win the Royal Rumble and they don't main event. Alberto Del Rio faced Edge in the opener of WrestleMania 27. Stuff like that. I think they should main event. Instead of WrestleMania 27, they have Miz versus Cena, which is one of the worst. And I love the Miz, one of the worst main events of all time. So we'll have to see. But, it did surprise me. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
Well, I'll say this before I get to Mike. I mean, Punk, Rollins, Roman won't disappoint as far as the main event. That's not what we're questioning.
No, that's superstar power. It's going to deliver. Yeah. They're all great workers. No doubt about that.
Yeah, so I don't think that's the question. I just think it's a matter of what are you saying about your World Heavyweight Championship, which is supposed to be the upper echelon level as far as the WWE Championship is now on the mid-card. And we've seen this before in history where the World Heavyweight Championship doesn't get the proper service. It feels like it's a mid-card title as opposed to a world title. Mike, what are your thoughts here? Jump in.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think I wasn't surprised by this. You have to look at the way they've treated the build-up. I mean, it's been an afterthought. Think about it. Every Raw that you see, it's the same thing. He just gets the title, Gunther tries to attack him. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. I look on social media and people think the exact same thing. They don't care about Jey versus Gunther anymore. And it's not that they don't care about Jey or they don't care about Gunther. It's just WWE themselves. They've proven that that's been an afterthought to them. What matters to them are the ones that are going to draw. It's a triple threat match. Okay, and then you got Cody versus Cena. And then you can go as far as concentrating on what they want to do with Braun Breaker. These are the future. But that just goes to show you that they did this and thinking that, it's going to be great, But then you look on their social media, which clearly they're looking at a lot, because look at all the influencers they're bringing in. So many dislikes. Triple H probably thinking, all right, we'll just sell this just to sell this, but if it does well, it does well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's the mindset I think they're going by. Or else they'd be building up better.
Right. Well, I think they've done a great job in building. Again, Mike, I told you this before we got on air. You really think about the progression of Jey Uso has been over the last 5 years, since COVID, to be honest with you. Right?
Yeah, he won these 2 months, though.
Say it again?
Yeah, but look at the past weeks. Do you really like?
No, I
Does the
understand
number
that.
cross your mind?
I get that, but does that go to the show? Is it the star power of Jay? Is it the in-ring work of Jay? Is it his promo skills? Why they're not trusting that he can main event? Or is it just a matter of Gene being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Again, they've been pushing him again for like the last 5 years, and really over the last 2 years, he's really gotten his push. He had the short intercontinental stint. And again, could he have main evented over a Punk Rollins and Roman, which mind you is not even for a championship? You like to believe a main event is for your championship, right? I think over the last few years, yeah, we had Kevin Owens versus Austin as a main event without the title. I'm trying to recollect in my mind. And last year he had the tag match without the title, which had the star power. But if you're trying to make Jay again that big superstar and get him to the main event level, how is it not the main event?
Well,
Like I said, it's a fair question.
yeah, it is a fair question, but you said it yourself. I mean, right there, it's just if you look at the card is just too stacked, just to worry about. I mean, think about it. What's more of a draw, the triple threat match or the world title match? And
TK?
it's 2 nights.
Well, I mean, but the tickets, most of those tickets are already sold. It's not really the main event that's going to sell the ticket to get in the stadium. It might help sell more, network subscriptions for
Hey,
Peacock.
speaking of which,
But
let me cut you off for a sec. Not everything is sold out yet. From what I've seen, tickets are
yeah,
still on sale. But
sure.
You know what the thing is, that the price is just so high that the people are like, man, is it really worth it? WWE, you're looking at them being like, yes, it's worth it. CM Punk, he's going to be main eventing. That's another way to look at it.
Oh, well, let me say this, and I'll let TK go in. Does that really make you want to buy a ticket or not? What the main event is? To be honest with you, if I'm going to a show, again, maybe it's just because I'm a diehard and not a casual. And TK, you could answer this. If I'm going to a show, I'm going to a show regardless of what the main event is. I don't care. I don't think to me, that's not a ticket seller. That's not going to move me. Oh, Punk is not in the main event. I'm not going. Like that doesn't move it for me either way.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Carl. There, I'm definitely with you because I bought the tickets before I knew what the main event would be. I'm going, so and I wanted. If I had a choice as a person who is going to WrestleMania, I would say I want to see Jey Uso versus Gunther because if Jey Uso versus Gunther is in the main event, I have a little bit more confidence that Jey Uso is going to win. Now that he's not in the main event, they're preparing you for upset. They're not sending you home happy. Maybe they don't put him in the main event because Gunther is going to squash him because it is going to be a Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan kind of thing there at WrestleMania. And who knows, that helped Daniel Bryan in the long run. Maybe it'll help Jey Uso. But the fact that it's not closing really makes me fear for Jey Uso and this push he's getting because if you win the Royal Rumble and then you come up short of WrestleMania, it's really hard to kind of come back from that, especially with the 5-year road he's taken, especially with the fact he's been a tag team guy for so long. There's a point in time where you do become Dolph Ziggler. But the fans do say, you know what, maybe he's just the jobber to the stars, the guy to get Braun Breaker over, the guy to get the next generation over. He's only going to be at this level of a B-plus player. And I think Jay can do more than that. I think the fans really connect with him. They get behind with him. I think he's really, really, really separated himself from being the tag team guy with his brother. When I see them now, they're not, it's not which twin is who anymore. You can go look 10 years ago at Jimmy and Jay and see that they weren't ready and look at him now. And I feel like Jimmy just oozes charisma. And I think he should get the chance to go on last because of his connection with the crowd. You want to make that WrestleMania moment. What moment could be bigger? Jey Uso winning. I just said
you said the difference.
Yeah, Jey Uso.
Correct yourself.
Yeah, I know. Jey Uso winning his world title against Gunther in what could be a historic match, or like CM Punk getting the main event when he could probably do it next year or the year after. When we've seen him fight, Rollins a lot, and maybe if the company still had Dean Ambrose, you could do like a Shield Fatal 4-way. There'd be a little more intrigue, but this feels like there's something missing there for me for it to be a main event. And as a fan, I want to see Jay go on there last because I've been invested in his storyline for 5 years, and this feels like a culmination of that.
I will say this, right, because we're coming up on time. The alley you just gave me, the Punk favor is what makes it intriguing because we thought the favor was the main event. So there's got to be some, and you can see the look on Paul Heyman's face. And I'm not sure if your SmackDown got cut off, but I think the last thing I heard from my SmackDown was that's not my favorite. And the SmackDown
Yes, he said that.
Right.
Favorite.
So I guess
Punk.
Right. Yeah. By the way, that's not the favor. So I think that's the draw, TK. As far as there's no championship on the line, and that's smart booking where it's like, okay, there's no championship. This is the main event. What's the favor? So it's clearly, and that makes me believe Punk's gonna win. and then he's gonna cash in the favor, or like I don't know what the scenario is.
Can I go back? Let me go back real quick to the Jey thing when it comes to TK. I was telling this Carl before we went on air. I think that they want him to have his. This is going to be like a Sami Zayn moment. Take a look at last year's Mania. Look at the reaction he got when he won the IC title.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the main event. I think they're going for that. I think this is going to happen. It's going to be like top tier, maybe second to last match, third to last match. All right, he's just like Sami Zayn, wins the title, huge pop, but then people forget about it later on because you have such a huge main event coming on.
Well, that's the problem. I don't want people to forget about it. I think that, if you put this much work into Jey Uso, you gave him the Royal Rumble win, you've been behind him this whole time, just to kind of falter there at the end and not really give him that one last little push, that little nudge to maybe make him, a bona fide superstar. I think it's a missed opportunity, but I do understand what Carl said about the favor. I am very intrigued. I am kind of underplaying this triple threat match to kind of make my point, but WWE is doing a great job overall making me interested in all these different feuds. And I'm a CM Punk guy at heart. I love CM Punk. I'm happy he's getting his main event, but at the same time, it feels to me, like I said, a little shoehorned in compared to where you could have the World Heavyweight title. I don't think Charlotte or Tiffany Stratton, I don't think they could main event, but I certainly think that Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and Ripley as a triple threat, I think that could main event. I think that's going to have a lot of heat behind it. But, we'll have to just wait and see because obviously WWE, they've been really cooking lately. They've given us a lot of good stuff. And the Night 1 Mania seems to kind of be the kind of wild card main event. We had Owens and Stone Cold. We had the tag team titles. We had the other tag team match. So, it does seem that WWE doesn't mind not putting the heavyweight title up, on the first night of WrestleMania. So,
I'll make 2 quick points as far as what we thought Punk meant by a main event was for the title, at least in my opinion. When he kept saying he wanted a main event, I thought he was going to get one for the title. That's what he wanted. I didn't think it was just the main event itself. I guess clearly he wants the main event check. And I don't know if that's the situation that he really wants. The only other way to save Jay's moment, and we've seen this before, where you open the show, and I've seen some fans say it, where you open the show with Jay winning. And there have been moments where I think when Seth won the Intercontinental belt,
he beat Brock on the opener.
He beat Brock in one in the opener. And then there was another opener that was the Intercontinental Championship match. So we've seen them come in hot as far as like you open like night 1, Jay wins the championship, and you get the crowd going really right off the rip. That's the only way I think.
Well, that's what I say. I'd rather be put on either last or first.
Right. But again, I think us as diehards really look at your match order, right? Because if you're at a high when you start it, where are you going to level off when it comes to the rest of it? You see what I'm saying? So I think those are some key points that we have to understand as far as that concerns.
That's how they opened last year's WrestleMania. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Carl, but they started with the World Heavyweight title. That was the first match. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. I think that was first match of night 2. So.
Thanks for watching the Sports Hit List. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In fact, do it now.